Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, the medium in the middle. On this podcast, I share my journey as a developing psychic medium, as a Reiki master teacher, as an Akashic record practitioner, and anything else that's thrown my way. Hello, middlers. Hello. Welcome to episode 141. I have you guys on the edge of your seats waiting for today's episode, and I'm so excited to share. I'm sharing the part 2 of last week's episode, so if you haven't already listened to episode 140, pause this episode, go back and listen to episode 140, a weird spirit message that led to this episode 141. So you'll be a little bit lost if you didn't listen to that episode first, so pause this. Go back. It's a short one. It's 17 minutes. And then come back and get the rest of the story, which I am excited to share with you all today. So first we are going to pull a card. And I want to pull a card from the Colette Baron Reid Enchanted Map deck. I pulled card 50. And the card is Compass. As long as you orient your compass to true north, the direction of your higher power, you will never be lost. You're entering uncharted territories right now and can expect wonderful new experiences. To stay on the highest path of your destiny, you will need to keep your compass pointed to true north. Only spirit or a higher power can serve this function. Money, prosperity, prestige, romance, and other material achievements can't help you find your true path. They are simply things you may experience along the journey. Know that spirit is working in your life, so even if you feel lost temporarily, it will be easy to find your way. Have faith and trust, for your compass with spirit as true north will ensure that you're never lost, even on a starless night when all seems dark. Ooh, interesting. Compass. The card pull for this week. And I do want to say, from last week's episode, the amount of messages I got on Instagram that you all thought this was the man that the psychic told me about was absolutely hilarious. And then when I said, no, like the Shaman Man wasn't the man the psychic told me I was going to meet, everyone was like, are you sure? How do you know? How tall was he? So I know I said that he was visiting from Australia for 6 weeks, and that little 6 got everyone really excited, but he was not the man that the psychic told me I was going to meet. Don't worry. Number 1, he lives in Australia. Number 2, he has a daughter that's around my age. And number 3, he was far too tall for anyone who needed a third reason. If you needed any more proof, there you go. But yeah, that was really funny last week. I got so many messages being like, this is him. Trust me, I will know. This wasn't a romantic connection. It was just a very cool spiritual connection. So for this week's announcement number 1, he is not the man the psychic told me about. And announcement number 2 is all of the September Reiki trainings are currently sold out. But the next Reiki level 1 is at the end of October. It's October 29th and 30th. It's already half sold out. But if you have been waiting to learn Reiki, the fall is a great time. I don't know why back to school makes everyone want to learn things, even me. It's like, all right, the kids are learning, we should be learning too. The next level 2 will be in November, dates to come. And if you are one of my students wanting to do your master's this year, please contact me and we can arrange it. I can probably do 1 or 2 more students in 2022, and then we are looking at the new year, folks. Holy cannolis. That is my only announcement. The mentees in the middle is full. Thank you to everyone who applied for my one-on-one mentorship program. The program will be starting again in January, but for now, we are full, folks. Okay, so let's begin with the first time I'm going to call him the Shaman Man. I love when podcasts give random names to like their characters, even though I do hope he'll come on the podcast. He said he would, and you can hear his real name. For now, we'll call him the Shaman Man. I've seen him twice now, and then I manifested seeing him a third time, which I will tell at the end of this of this episode. But the first time he came was when we were doing a trade. So that session started with an Akashic record reading for him. And then I was letting him do kind of whatever he wanted to on me. And he was like, oh, like I kind of want to practice a few things. He didn't need any practice, but he wanted to practice a few things. And I was like, yeah, like I'm open to whatever you kind of want to work on. So that was the plan. So I did the Akashic record reading first, and then I got on the table to receive. I had no expectation. I didn't know what he was doing. He had told me he was a shaman. He had told me he uses sound healing. So he had like a drum and he had a rattle. He had told me that sometimes he speaks in light language. Sometimes he sings. Sometimes he like pulls energy out of you and then like blows it away. Like, so he was like, if you hear me kind of doing that, just like, sorry, it might be a little bit weird. And I was like, nothing is weird here. So I am happy to report that during my session, I received a little bit of everything. And it was amazing and I learned a lot, but it also gave me permission to be a little extra woo because all of the things he was doing were so amazing and so healing. So I'm going to talk about the session a little bit and then I'm going to go into what I learned because this is why I think it's very important that we go to other healers and we experience sessions from different people because there's something we can learn from everybody. So I want to start off with the first synchronicity. I take Archie for a walk every day, obviously, and we always go to the dog park. And on the way to the dog park, there's this Indian trading post, and it sells some indigenous items. And I always walk by it, and I was like, oh, I've never been in there. And I've been wanting to go in because they sell a bunch of indigenous handcraft things and there's a lot of items in there. It just looks like a really cool shop. And I was thinking I should buy my sage from there or like anything that I use, I should be buying it from the Banff Trading Post, like where it's coming directly from the indigenous peoples. So for the past like week before this session, I was thinking like I need to go in there, but every time I walk by, they close at 6 p.m. and I usually am walking Archie after 6 p.m. and I have Archie. So I need to be like, remember Steph to come by here without the dog before 6 p.m. So it's just been on my mind. Every day when I walk by it and it's past 6 p.m., I'm always like, oh, they're closed. I need to come back here when they're open. So when the Shaman Man arrived, he had like a big bag from them. And he said, oh, I went to the Banff Trading Post and they have so much cool stuff in there. I got a bunch of stuff to use today. And I was like, you know what? I've been meaning to go there. So he got this really, really cool drum and this rattle, and he had a bunch of stuff in there that he started pulling out. And I was like, I'm really excited to kind of like try these things that you got because he knows how to use them. These aren't kind of tools that I've used before. For sound, I've only ever used a bowl or bells. So he starts off with some drumming. He starts off with some rattling. He places his hands on me in different ways, similar to some Reiki hand positions. And then the light language started and my mind went like, it was like familiar but new. It was so calming. It was just amazing. And sometimes he was singing in it. Sometimes he was kind of like having a conversation. And I could tell that he was like talking at my energy. It was really, really interesting. It was the coolest thing I have ever experienced. I don't know if any of you have ever had someone like speak light language in the same room as you, but I've seen it on like YouTube before and it's interested me, but I've never known anyone to do it. I've never experienced it myself. So when he started that, it was crazy. And then just some of the things he was doing, I started crying, he started crying. But I love when like tears happen in healings. Usually like he said, oh, my eyes are tearing, like I'm crying. And I was like, oh, my eyes are tearing, like I'm crying too. That's usually how it happens. And I do that a lot in my sessions because your eyes are closed, so you don't always see. So it was kind of cool for someone else to do it. But another cool thing that happened while he was working on me was I was twitching and jolting like crazy. So my body was kind of like bouncing off the tables or jolting or moving. And it was pretty aggressive. And he asked me a few times if I was okay. And I was like, yeah, like my body is very sensitive to energy. Some people who are like that. I actually had 2 clients yesterday who were both very, very, very jolty. And it's just really interesting when that happens. So that has only ever happened to me once before. And it was when I was recommended to this lady, and she was like, again, kind of hard to get into. She didn't have a website or anything. A friend recommended her to me. So I finally got a session because my friend like kind of begged her to see me. And she doesn't touch you. It was all energy work, but she didn't touch you. And she like didn't really speak English. So I didn't really know why I was there. I was just like, my friend told me I had to come see you. Here I am. Like, thank you for seeing me. And she kind of hovered her hands on top of me, and it was mostly around my head for the entire session, and my body was jumping. I remember I felt like a jumping bean. And this was very early in my development, so I think I had just taken like maybe 2 Reiki courses or Reiki level 1. I can't exactly remember. But my body was like bouncing off of the table like it was a trampoline. And she was like, wow, like usually people don't like move this much. And I was like, yeah, like this is cool. And I felt like it felt like releases. Like I wasn't being hurt. Nothing was bad. It was just really cool. Anyways, she ended up stopping the session because she was like, you're reacting too much. But I was happy that he didn't stop because it felt really good as the energy was moving, and it really did feel like he was like pulling things out of me that needed to leave. So it was this really, really cool experience, and it reminded me of that lady again. I haven't thought about her for a really long time, but I still remember she said her sessions were $33 because she said 3 and 3 are very powerful, and I was like, yep. And she said, you have 3 options. You can give me $33, but I don't need it. She said you can donate $33 to a church, or you can give $33 to someone in need. She's like, but you have to pass the $33 along. And I was like, oh, like, okay. And it was just like this really, really interesting experience. So it reminded me of that. But through this whole thing in my session, I was just thinking, as he was saying, like, sorry if I do this, it might be a little weird, or he was saying he was tearing, or I was tearing. I was going through this entire journey in my mind. It felt like it was only an hour, but it felt like lifetimes. And we were going through all of these things, and he was just like holding my hand at one point. He's like, I just feel like I have so much love for you. I don't know what I'm feeling. And then he's like, what are you feeling? I'm like, I feel like I'm a little girl in a dress. I think I'm going through like past lifetimes. Like it literally felt like I went through 3 lifetimes laying on that bed. And afterwards he was like, what were you like seeing? And I said, I think you were my dad in a past life. I was like, because I was like this little girl in a dress, like laying there, and you were holding my hand, like kind of helping me and guiding me. And he was like, yeah, that would make sense, because like when I was like holding your hand, I was like, wow, I forget what he said, but it was like so much love for this person, like kind of the same way that you love a child. Unconditional, that's the word. And I was like, yeah, it felt like I went through lifetimes and you were always guiding me, like you were always helping me with something, or you were, holding my hand, taking me somewhere. Like there was all these like imageries of like him always guiding me. And I was like, there's a reason why we met, like when you're here in Canada, and there's a reason why all these things are coming together. And he was like, yeah, he's like, there's a lot of people I've been trying to meet up with or have appointments with, and not all of them have worked out. He's like, but this one worked out. And it was just like really cool because I have never had an experience like that where like the hour felt like it was 3 hours. Again, time does not exist. Podcast to come. And I felt like I went through lifetimes of healing. It was so powerful and so amazing. Holy cow. You are not practicing. You are like, you need to be offering this. You need to start now. People need this type of healing. It was incredible. But the biggest thing that I learned was this permission slip to kind of just do. And I talked about this in last week's episode, where when you're with other energy workers or people who are in this realm, it's kind of your do whatever you want, pull out all the stops. And it made me think, why? Why do we just like feel more comfortable? He was like, I'm just going to try whatever I'm called to do. And he was like, it's hard speaking light language in front of somebody else because, you're embarrassed or you're scared or you don't know what's going to happen. And it was so beautiful on my receiving end. And I was like, oh my God, that was the most amazing thing ever. That was such a good healing experience. Thank you so much. Like, you have to be doing this work when you go home. Quit your job, open a shop. And it was really interesting though, because in my mind, why don't I do this stuff? Like, I have a lot of things, but you try to keep it kind of mainstream. You try to keep it kind of, by the book of what you're supposed to be doing. But my most like woo-woo-y sessions are always the best. I remember there was one session where I hummed the whole time. And at the end, I was like, sorry, I don't know why I was humming. And the lady was like, my mom used to hum the exact way you were humming. And it's just like when you let things kind of just move through your body intuitively, so much beauty can happen. So it was this huge permission slip for me, it felt like, of let me work more intuitively. And I do work very intuitively with Reiki, but I think it was more of the addition of the drum and the rattle. Now, I am obsessed with my bowl, my Tibetan bowl, but the rattle, he brought the rattle back on the second time, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I was thinking for like house clearings and anyways, so just kind of adding things into my practice, remembering that we're still constantly learning and building and changing and picking up things from people. And the way my sessions are today are just things that I've picked up from different people that I like. Like, ooh, they did this. I like that. I'm going to do that. Ooh, this person did this at the end. I really liked that. I'm going to do that. And now I have this. I want to speak light language. I mean, I don't think I'm ready, but one day it was just so beautiful. I could listen to it forever. If you don't know what it is, go Google it. There is some YouTube videos of it. I haven't found a video that I love or like a resource that I love that I could share, but it's just interesting to kind of dabble. So anyway, so the next week when he came back, we were doing another trade and he was like, I'm going to try something different this time. So we set up a little altar. We did some breath work, which was really cool. I've never done breath work in that way. And I always say I'm a bad breather. I took a whole yoga training to work on my breathing. We did breath work. We set up this whole altar. It was really cool. I felt like I was kind of Reiki high, but through breath, and I was falling over a little bit and he held me up. But I was like, even this is super cool. Like, why don't I do any of these things? It just really pushed me out of my comfort zone. It pushed me out of my box, and it made me realize like there is so much more I could be diving into, but that I don't do. I always just like stay in my lane. So it was a really good introduction into new things and different things and things I could be trying. And then I went on the table and he did some more body work. So much more light language came through. And he even said, he was like, I don't know if I'm going to get light language again today. He was like, but it was coming through earlier before I even saw you. He's like, so I think it's going to come through again. And I was like, honestly, that was my favorite part last time. So that would be like so cool. And he does these singings and hummings. And it was just so cool and powerful. And he would say things that his intuition was picking up on. And I was like, you're spot on. And he was like, oh, I wasn't even going to say that. And we just learned so much from each other. I feel like it was a very, again, nothing happens on accident. You meet the people you need to meet. And this was really big, I think, for my growth and development as a healer working in this realm. And also kind of a big permission slip for the both of us to like, go do the thing, go expand, go start, say the intuitive hits. I work with people mentoring one-on-one, and this is like constantly the message is trust it, trust it, trust it. He's like, well, I didn't really understand like certain things that he was saying. He's like, this doesn't make sense to me, but, and I was like, yes, it's not going to make sense for you because it's for me. And it was just really beautiful to see someone like going through that, but then also me afterwards reflecting, oh, wow, I learned so much from this exchange as well, and I needed this so badly. We were kind of talking about how it's really nice to lay on the table for once and receive. Like, I have to remember to receive. I have to be better at booking my appointments. And I was really good for a while. I was booking Reiki once a month, and then, life gets busy and you stop booking them. But I need to remember to do my healings and go see different healers and go try things. And it's been a theme, even this, like so many synchronicities. So the theme of the past few weeks for in-person, people have been traveling from all over to come see me. Again, not crazy far, but someone from Calgary, an hour and a half. Someone came from Invermere. I think it's an hour and a half, 2 hours in an opposite direction. I've had people come from Medicine Hat, which is like 3 hours away. I'm like, oh, like, what are you doing in Banff? And they're like, we're here to see you. I'm like, oh, like, what else are you doing? They're like, well, no, we just came for this. And I was like, oh, like you drove an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours just for my appointment? They're like, yeah. And it got me thinking, again, synchronicity. I'm like, why don't I do that? I'm sure there's healers that I should go see in Invermere and Calgary and wherever else. But I'm so, again, in this little box, we have these ways of thinking and we get stuck. And I feel like this experience helped me feel unstuck. Another thing that the Shaman Man said to me was that I need to like get better at grounding and releasing all of the people that I work with. And I always thought that I was like this amazing grounder and I'm so great at grounding, and I've been told I'm too grounded sometimes. And he was like, you need to release back to Mother Earth. And he was talking about Gaia and Mother Earth and sending the energy back and like soaking my feet in the Bow River. And again, another thing, I was like, I tell people that all the time. And now someone's sitting here telling me that. And he was talking about kind of releasing back, remembering Gaia, remembering Mother Earth, soaking my feet in the river. And I was just thinking, again, another synchronicity. I've been taking Archie on his walks every day to go put his feet in the river. Why don't I put my feet in the river? Like sometimes you just need someone to say that. And he was talking a lot about Mother Earth and going back to goddess of the earth, the mother, the feminine energy, the caring for you, and like using the earth, using what you have right here. And it just like really made me think. I went on like a 2-hour dog walk by myself after the session, and I was like, why don't I use Mother Nature more? I literally live in Banff and I'm not very intentional about it. So now I'm also obsessed with Mother Nature and reconnecting, and I want the word Gaia tattooed on me. It's just like, it just triggered so many things. It was like a domino effect for like so many things. And at the end of the first session, he was like, so I brought this stone here, and he made a necklace out of it, and there's 3 different colors of string. And he said, I brought this with me from Australia. He's like, and I didn't know why. And he said, now I know it was for you. And he was like, it's red, yellow, and black, the strings. So the stone is mookaite, and the black represents the Aboriginals of Australia. The red represents the earth, and the yellow represents the sun. He was like, I brought this and I didn't know why. And he was like, now I realize it's for you. And he's like, I meant to give this to you. And I was like, oh wow, like thank you. It was a necklace. So then I was like walking on my nature walk wearing this necklace, just feeling so connected to Mother Earth. So then the next week when he came back, I was like, oh my gosh, I should have got you a gift, duh, like with the trade. So I was thinking, like, what can I give him that I have here in my office? So when I did my Reiki Master's course, after the course, I did a crystal healing course. And I got a set of crystals with that course, and I use them on my clients. But one of them broke. It was actually the root chakra crystal broke, and it broke in 2. It's not half. There was one big piece and one small piece. So when I was laying there, I was like, I have to give him something as a trade. And I was like, oh my gosh, that broken crystal, I should give him half because it was like from my master. And then I'm going to give it to him. And I was like, he gets the big piece and I get the little piece because like he's teaching me on this journey and I'm still the little, like I'm still the small person and he's the master. So I kind of explained that when I gave it to him. He's like, no way. And I was like, oh my God, yes. Like you need all the confidence and the push to do this because like the world needs more people like you doing this work. And especially because he's a male, like okay, I'm going to really get into Reiki history. So the Reiki history is a lot of males that were teaching other males, but then they realized that women wouldn't be called to war. So they started teaching females. And now the Reiki world and kind of what I've experienced it is predominantly female. I do have like some male students. Again, like 1 in 10 will be a male. So to see like working males in this, we need the balance of masculine and feminine, males and females. We need people who you might be comfortable going to a male, you might be comfortable going to a female. We need the different perspectives. It's just the more people doing this work, the better. So it was just like this beautiful exchange and trade, and it was amazing. The last thing I'll say about this story to wrap this all up. So I knew he was leaving on Sunday, and Sunday I had a day off because I was teaching Reiki Masters for the first time. And I had booked off Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the training. but my student asked if we could just kind of do it in 2 days because she had something come up on the Sunday. And I was like, yeah, we can do like longer days so that we can get it done in 2 days instead of making it 3. So I ended up having a Sunday off. So I was thinking Saturday night after the training, oh my gosh, I could go out for breakfast tomorrow because I have the morning off. I was like, I never have mornings off. And during the week, I go to the gym every day at noon. So it's like not enough time. Like, I don't want to go eat breakfast and go to the gym. And I was like, I could like go to a yoga class because again, I could go to a Sunday morning yoga class because I wouldn't have clients or a course or whatever I'm doing. So in my mind, it was late Saturday night and I was thinking, oh my gosh, find someone to go to brunch with, like go book a yoga class, use this day off. It's a gift. And even well, now she's a master herself, but she's like, Steph, you get a day off now. It's like a gift. And I was like, it is. So I booked a yoga class and then I was meeting a friend for brunch after yoga. So as I was laying in the yoga class, I was thinking about the Shaman Man because the yoga studio is in the same building as my office. It's actually right underneath it. So I was just thinking about it and I was being like, I need to do this more. I need to breathe more. I used to be a yoga teacher and I don't teach anymore. So I don't breathe anymore. I need to come back to my mat. I was like, just like the Shaman Man said, I need to reconnect with the earth. When my feet were on the mat, I was really thinking about it. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's Sunday. He's leaving today. Oh man, like I won't see him again. And I was like, I wish I could see him like one more time just because he was so cool. So, just a thought during yoga. And then I messaged a friend after yoga and I was like, hey, like, where do you want to go? And she's like, oh, I made a reservation here. It was like, I'm one of my favorite spots for breakfast. And I was like, you're the best. So we go and we sit down for breakfast and we're ordering coffee or whatever. And I notice a little girl sitting beside us and we're smiling at the little girl. And then I look over. And it's the Shaman Man with his family. And I was like, no freaking way. And I turned to my friend and I was like, I manifested this. She was like, what? I'm like, I manifested this. I wanted to see him one more time. And here he is sitting right beside us at brunch. Anyway, so his little granddaughter was smiling at us the whole time. She kept coming over to our table. She wanted to sit with us. Again, you can manifest anything. We sat directly beside them for all of brunch. And they must have just sat when we just sat because we got our food at the same time. We kind of left around the same time. It was just really beautiful. So it was just such a full circle moment. So many synchronicities, so many things lined up. I just feel like a huge permission slip, a really big expansion. I do feel changed after those 2 sessions. They were such amazing healing sessions. It also reminded me to book sessions with other people and like kind of get out there and try new things because when someone introduces you to something new, it's like, do you like this? Do you don't? Do you want to kind of go into this a little bit more, discover things like the rattle? And I was even working yesterday in person. I was like, I wish I had a rattle for this energy. Like, I just want to kind of like shake it. So I'm going to go to the trading post soon. I haven't gone yet, but I will go. I'm probably going to get Gaia tattooed on me. Literally, that is how powerful that session was. I just want a constant reminder of it. I also feel like it's a door opening for things to come in my work and kind of what I'll be doing. He was talking about coming back and doing retreats, and I was like, oh my God, let's do retreats together. He was going to come on the podcast. I don't know when, but he will. I have to message him. He just went back to Australia. Just so many exciting things, and I love when stuff like this happens. I love when the universe aligns, puts you in the way of the people you need to meet and the things you need to do and experience and learn lessons and show you lessons and expand you. It was just the most beautiful experience. And it was woo-woo. It was so woo-woo. He was just like, this is kind of weird. And I was like, I get why you're saying that, but it's so not weird. It's like home. It just felt so good. Light language is amazing and beautiful. And if you know anyone that does it, go see them. Go see them. It was literally, I just laid there with tears in my eyes, going through lifetimes of healing. It was so magical. Anyway, so obviously I had to bring those stories to the pod. Obviously I had to share with you guys because such an amazing experience, so many lessons and learnings. I had to share with you. That is my story of the Shaman Man. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you want to book a session with me for distance Reiki, PSYCH-K, or Akashic record readings, you can do so on my website, themediuminthemiddle.com. I will leave the links for everything that you need down below in the show notes. If you want to register for Reiki Level 1 in October, I will leave that linked down below as well. Just a reminder, I do have only one Instagram at Medium in the Middle, and I will never, ever DM you. So if you got a DM from me, it was not me. I will never ask you for a reading. I will never say, hello, love, I was drawn to your energy. That is not me. I'm sorry if you got that message. I will never DM you first. I will answer your DM, but I will never DM you first. If you could please leave a rating and a review wherever you are listening, I would really, really appreciate it. It really helps this podcast keep growing and expanding. And if you are on the psychic train from a few episodes ago, I'm going to that next week. So I'm traveling to Toronto next week, and we'll see who I meet with a camera. You never know. Until next Wednesday, Middlers, when I see you in your ears, I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoyed this story. Go be woo. Go do the thing. Book your healing appointments. We need each other. Have a good one. Bye.